So I want to spotlight another political mental giant. There's a new politician from the LA City Council who isn't getting enough notoriety, at least not in my opinion. I want to introduce you to Nithya Raman. She's fairly young, born in 1981, but she is fired up with bright ideas and ready to change the world, or at least Los Angeles. Nithya V. Raman is an American urban planner, activist, and politician serving as the Los Angeles City Council member for the 4th District since 2020. Raman, a member of the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Socialists of America. She earned a bachelor's degree in political theory from Harvard University, then a master's degree in urban planning from MIT. Prior to entering politics, Raman founded and headed a homelessness nonprofit in Los Angeles. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. She is extremely well educated, or perhaps well indoctrinated, Harvard and MIT, city planner and advocate for the homeless. Quick side note, the homeless problem in LA, it's worse now than it was last year. It will keep getting worse because the nonprofit groups that want to help the homeless don't actually want to help the homeless at all. They want to make the problem worse. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but if they solved the problem, then they're all out of work, and those tasty multi-million-dollar donations go away. The more help for the homeless that you see, the more homeless you're going to get. That's their business plan. Plus, she's a democratic socialist, which is really just a socialist, which is really just a stepping stone to communism. She wants to help the workers get a fair wage and better benefits. That sounds nice, but this is the same problem. If the democratic socialists solve that problem, they're out of a job. That's why you're seeing more automation and more AI jobs and less actual workers. That's how they really help you. Now, since being elected to city council, she's made a few noteworthy votes that I want to point out. In 2021, she voted against a city ordinance that banned homeless encampments within 500 feet of schools and daycare centers. Wow, I mean, come on, it's only fair. You have to have homeless next to schools. That's how the young people can see what the future of California will look like. Plan ahead. In June of 2021, she proposed an ordinance to ban cash buyout offers to tenants. See, basically, if you have a tenant in your property and they're just an absolute nightmare, they break stuff, they don't pay rent, you can't get them to leave. So sometimes a landlord will offer a cash incentive. Like, hey, here's $500, just leave and move anywhere else. That way the landlord can get into the property, fix it up, and get it back on the rental market. She labeled this as harassment, therefore making it impossible to remove bad tenants and destroying the investment property for the landlords. These are all just democratic socialist policies. All landlords are bad. Anyway, this proposal was passed and it's now an official policy. She was so bad, the citizens of LA tried to recall her in her first 6 months, but they couldn't get enough signatures to make a motion. Now, with all that being said, a few days ago, she did something so unbelievably stupid that it puts all of that previous stuff to shame. There was a public event, and someone asked her about a recent vote. The vote in question was to make it illegal to be in possession of a catalytic converter that doesn't belong to you. See, catalytic converters are part of a car's exhaust system. It makes the air cleaner. They contain platinum, palladium, some other rare earth metals, and selling them to a junkyard can get you $200 to $800 each. Well, guess what? She voted against that bill. She wants criminals to be able to steal your catalytic converter and not be held responsible. And you'll never guess why. Her reasoning is criminally stupid.
In this case, I think one of the things that really infuriates me is that we have a company, the Prius, Toyota, who makes the Prius, that essentially has a device on their cars, which is super easy to remove. It's basically the value of a MacBook, right? That is put in a place that is incredibly easy to access in your car. And then the thefts related to this issue have essentially all of the costs of that are given to us to bear instead of them having to manufacture a car that actually is not so easy to be stolen.
She blames Toyota for making them too easy to steal and too expensive. She's referring to the Toyota Prius, which is a very efficient car and therefore has a very prized catalytic converter, which is worth the most money to these thieves. I mean, you can easily get $500 to $1,000 each. Now, they're not easy to steal. You have to crawl under the car and use a special metal saw to literally cut them and rip them from the underside of vehicles. There's no other place to put them because they get extremely hot while in use, and they need to be exposed to the air to vent the heat. If you enclose them in the car, they will catch fire. This is just another example of blaming the victim. Well, I guess it was your fault that your car got vandalized. It's your fault for having a nice car. If you weren't such a rotten capitalist, this wouldn't have happened. Now, we're not talking about a Ferrari. This is a Toyota Prius. Sure, decent car, but come on. This is how far we've fallen in LA? But if she's allowing the crime because it was easy to access, then I have a doozy for you. According to her logic, now I hate to have to say this, I have to cover my ass for YouTube. This is not my opinion, but according to her logic, that if it's easier to access, it's not a crime. So any woman wearing a skirt who gets raped is not a victim. It was their fault because it was easier to get at. That's her position. LA, this is what you voted for. Every excuse in the book to protect criminals. Every law and punishment for the victims. Once your catalytic converter is stolen, you'll get fines and punishment for any legal exhaust. Your car won't pass inspection. You'll have to pay to get it replaced. The thief gets, $500 at a scrapyard. But the replacement cost for a new one is slightly higher. I just checked with AutoZone.com, and here is the replacement cost. It's over $4,000. But that's when you can find them in stock. Plus labor to install them, and you'll lose a couple of days without a car. Sounds convenient, huh? Let's protect those criminals. LA, your city council doesn't want to punish these low-life thieving scumbags. She wants to blame Toyota for using high-quality parts and making efficient vehicles. I've said this so many times it's getting tired, but LA, all California, you deserve this. You deserve everything that you get. You keep voting for those democratic socialists. Just keep doing it. We're going to look back in history and teach people the exact method to ruin a country. They might even show a picture of her face. She's a virus that is destroying everything good that is left in California. There isn't much remaining, I'll give you that, but she's trying her very best to kill it. I used to say, if you live in LA, you need to leave. But now, you need to stay. You keep your shitty policies and enjoy what you created. Nithya Raman, you deserve everything you're gonna get. If you like these kinds of stories, subscribe. Come back tomorrow, watch more. You're not gonna hear this stuff anywhere else. I got more videos coming later, so I'll see you soon.